I recently uploaded a vlog that was extremely down to earth and it was very, very casual. I'll link it down below for you guys. And I had a lot of feedback based on you guys wanting to know a little bit more about me and my household and my kids, and a little bit less about handbags. So I thought in today's video, I will share with you guys some opinions and some feelings and some thoughts that I have that may be popular or may be unpopular. Who knows? It's a little bit more deeper into who I am. Now, if you're new here, you're probably like, I don't give a fuck about this lady. I do not care anything about her. So I totally get it if you're gonna skip off of this video. But if you're not new here, then welcome back. And thank you so much for spending your time with me and getting to know me a little bit better. I do want to quickly share with you guys because I'm super excited. I got a couple things from the Merit Black Friday sale. I purchased this myself with my own money. I only bought two things. I behaved myself. I was a really good kid, but the two things that I bought are top notch, you guys. So I bought the blush in the color Nude. It's the Flush Bomb blush, and I love it. I think the color is so beautiful. And then I got the lipstick. I wanted to try out their lipstick. All of the lipsticks I own from Merit are in the signature lip, and I wanted to try out their matte signature lip. And this is in the color Mason, and I'm a fan. I absolutely love it. So I did want to share that with you guys. Keep in mind, right now I have the filming setting on where it blurs the background, and cinematic, that's what it's called. And for whatever reason, cinematic mode makes your skin look horrible. It enhances every single wrinkle and every single detail. It makes your face look shinier than it is. It really makes your skin look horrible. But I love the fact when I film in cinematic that you can actually see my true skin color and my true hair color, and it blurs out the background. When I don't film in cinematic, it really blurs me and washes me out, and I really don't like that. So even though I am pointing out my blush and my lipstick, you're gonna see all of my flaws in today's video too, and that is totally okay. My first opinion that may or may not be popular is I don't care how old you are. I don't care about your sexual orientation. I don't care what pronoun you go by. I don't care what skin color you have. I don't care about your religious beliefs. If you are a good person, then you are in my corner and I want to be friends with you. I could care less about any of those other details. Next up is I give my kids the room or the space to make mistakes. I'm a firm believer that the more that you do for your kids, the more that you take away from your kids. You are going to build their confidence by teaching them how to do things, tasks in life, but you also need to give them the room to make mistakes themselves. So for example of this is just an example that's coming out of the top of my brain. It's not a situation that's happened in my life. Let's say you are teaching your kid to cook, and it's the first time that they're going to be cooking by themselves without supervision. That has to happen at some point in their life. And they make a mistake and they accidentally burn their finger, or they burn their food, or they turn it up too high, or they ruin the pan. That is totally okay with me. I feel like that is a life lesson. I'm not a helicopter mom. I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to be there to support you, and I'm going to give you all of the tools that you need before I separate myself from the situation. But at some point in time, you have to learn to do it by yourself. And because of that, my kids, anytime people meet my kids, they tell me how self-efficient they are, and they always ask me how I do it. And that's how. I just give my kids the tools that they need, and then I let them fly. I let them do it themselves, and then we go from there. Now, if they do it themselves and they hurt themselves or they make a lot of mistakes, then we go back to the training process. But I do feel like it's very unpopular these days to allow your kids to cook, to allow your kids to use the washer machine, to allow your kids to vacuum, or even doing fun activities like to allow yourself to go to an after school, or your kids to go to an after school event, or to go watch the football game, or whatever it may be. At some point in time, you have to give yourself, or not yourself, you have to give your kids the room to make mistakes sooner rather than later, in my opinion, because that builds their confidence and it teaches them how to handle certain situations. Luxury is not for any specific financial class. So what I mean by that is even if you are on a lower financial scale, you can still buy luxury. You can save up money. It might take you 2, 3, 4 years. It's still something that you could obtain for yourself if you want to. So of course that's something that you would have to work towards if you are lower on the financial scale, but I don't feel like you shouldn't own luxury just because you don't make a certain amount. It's totally okay for you to spend a big dollar amount on yourself if that's something that you want and it's something that you work towards, even if you don't make a big dollar amount salary wise. I hear so many people talk crap about other people because they only make $20,000 a year and they just spent $2,000 on a bag. Who cares? If they saved up their money and they bought it and they love it and they enjoy it, it doesn't matter what your salary is. You deserve to have anything in life that you want and that you are paying for and you're working hard towards it. And that leads me to my next point, which is you don't have to have a nice house to have a luxury bag. You don't have to have a nice car to have a luxury bag. You can live in a 1-bedroom, tiny little place that most people would consider beat down and have a beat down car and still own a luxury bag. Everybody's passions are completely different, and if you are not passionate about having a super nice house, you don't have to have one. If you want to buy a luxury bag and you don't have a luxury car, that is totally fine with me. I don't care about how you spend your money. You spend it in whatever way makes you happy, and I think that if you are earning the money, you deserve to spend it in any way you want. You will have zero judgment from me. I don't care about how you parent your kids. This may be very, very controversial. I have friends that are very strict. I am not very strict. I have friends that are very, very loose. I am not very loose. I'm kind of in the middle. I could care less. If you are very strict and that is the way it works for your household, so be it. If you are very loose and that's the way it works for your household, so be it. Every single kid is different. Every single kid reacts to disciplinary actions differently. Some kids, in order to discipline them, you actually have to love them. And I know that probably sounds crazy to some people, but usually for some kids, if they are acting out, it's because they need attention. So if you discipline them in a regular way, whatever that form is for you, and then they start behaving worse, try it. Try giving them affection and love instead and seeing how that goes. And if you notice that one of your kids is acting out quite a bit, start incorporating more alone time with them. I swear to you, it will change. It worked for me. Let me not swear that. It worked for me and for my kids. I have a child that was that way, and the more I poured into her and the more I loved her, she has completely changed. She's done a complete 180 and she's a whole different person now, and I have changed my parenting style for her completely. So with that being said, I don't care how you parent your kids. I trust that you are doing what you can and the best that you can for your kids. Unless your kids are afraid of the house or being abused, I have nothing to say about your parenting style. Okay, let's do an easygoing one, and that is that fact that I prefer to read a book over watching TV or watching a movie. My first form of entertainment for me is reading a book. My second form of entertainment is YouTube. My third form of entertainment is probably social media, and then I would say watching a TV show and then watching a movie. I like short form content so much more, but I love reading a book. It's my favorite, and I know that a lot of people aren't readers, but some of you guys have reached out to me and told me that you are readers, and I think that's really fun, especially tying the luxury community. It seems as though a lot of the luxury community actually are readers, and so maybe there's something tied in that. Maybe some of our personality traits are similar. But yeah, I prefer to read a book over watching a movie almost any day. Okay, this is one that has changed for me over time, and that is that I don't care what my kids wear. I used to feel like my kids need to wear a dress on the holidays, and they need to be having curly hair and prim and proper and dressed up for these special occasions. I don't care anymore. In fact, one of my sons, he is so stinking cute. He likes to mix colors and patterns. So he will wear an orange checkered print shirt with blue dinosaur shorts. And I think it looks so cool. Every single time I'm like, what made you think to put those things together? Because it always looks so cool and it looks so him. And then I have a daughter who wears nothing but baggy clothes. Super, super baggy clothes all the time. And that's just her vibe. That's her style. Is that my style? I actually like baggy clothes, but I don't wear baggy clothes 24/7. So with that being said, I don't make my kids dress up for the holidays. I don't make them fit into a certain mold. They get to choose their own personal style. And it is so fun and so cool to see them and the way that they choose their clothing and the reasons why they choose what they wear. Okay, this is one that surprises me that it would be any different, and that is the fact that my husband does not have rules and he does not have a honey to-do list. If my husband wants to go out with his friends, by all means, go out with your friends. If my husband wants to go out to eat with somebody, by all means, go out to eat with somebody. If my husband goes to the gym every single day with his friends. He goes to jiu-jitsu, and then sometimes he'll go out to breakfast with them afterwards. I don't care. It doesn't bother me one bit. Sometimes he goes out shooting. Sometimes, he does what he wants when he wants. And I also don't make a honey to-do list. I have never, not once, told my husband, I need you to do this, or I need you to get this done, or this needs to be done. And there's two reasons for that. One, I'm not your mother. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And two, well, let me talk on that a little bit more. If you do turn yourself into a mother figure to your husband, you no longer have a husband and wife relationship. You will look at your husband differently because you're now mothering your husband. For me, that's a no-go. Like, my husband is very masculine. He is very sexy. He is definitely the leader in the household. He is that person, and that's who I need him to be. So I'm not going to mother him. Number two is I don't need to tell my husband what to do. He knows what he needs to do, and he takes initiative to do it. I did not marry somebody who has to be told to get up and put his plate away. No, he knows how to do that himself. He is very efficient. He is very productive. We are very much the same in that way. We see that something needs to get done and we do it. Now, there are certain things that he will do that I will not do, and there's certain things that I do that he does not do. One example of that pops straight to my head is I don't do the yard work. No, sir, that is not for me. If I had to do the yard work, I would probably pay somebody because that's how much I hate it. And he doesn't do the cooking. He doesn't like it. He's not comfortable in the kitchen. He'll grill, but he doesn't do the cooking. So those are just examples that pop up in my head, but there are several. Like, my husband does my laundry. He does my laundry and he does his laundry. That's awesome. He also makes me coffee in the morning. You guys, I just don't have to. I don't have to mother my husband. And if I was in a position where I did have to, you bet your ass that we would be having a stern conversation, because that's not the type of marriage that I want to have. Okay, this is another one that surprises me, and I hate to stereotype this, but it always happens with older white privileged men. They think that they can make racial comments to me, or not to me. They tell me racial comments about other people. And as soon as they do, I always do this, and I think it's great, you guys. I pull up a family photo because my family's biracial. We're not just one race. If you guys have seen my kids, you guys know this. My husband, his dad is half black, half white, and his mom is Mexican. My husband's dark. My kids are dark, you guys. So it's always so funny for them to, like, before they can even finish their sentence, I say, hey, take a look at my family. And they always stop talking. And it's just a way to shut them down. You know, no, I have zero tolerance for it. And if somebody were to make a racial comment to me and they kept on talking, I will just walk away. I'm not even going to gratify you with an explanation as to why I'm walking away from you. I will literally just walk away from the conversation. I don't want nothing to do with you. You're not my kind of people. You have no room in my space, and I just have no tolerance for it. This is another one that people feel very, very strongly about. I am Christian. That is my religion. I go to church most Sundays. I have to admit, I've been really, really slacking as of lately because I've been struggling to manage my day job and then my YouTube job. And that's what it is, honestly. YouTube has kind of gotten in the way of my church going, and I really need to change that. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, even though I am a Christian, I love to hear about other religions. Like, I don't just want to listen. I love it. I love to hear about other religions. In fact, I follow several people on TikTok that are different religions than I am, and their whole page is about their religion. I find it so fascinating and so interesting. And I don't judge any other religion. I don't try to change anybody else's religion. I don't try to convert people to be Christian. I don't even care if you're religious or not. I just find that other religions are very, very fascinating. And I often put myself in their shoes, and like, if I was raised a different religion, would I switch to Christianity? And I just think it's a cool concept, again, to hear about other people's beliefs and other people's religion, and even more so, or even to stretch that, cultures. I really, really love to hear about other people's cultures and the things that they do. I think it's really cool to see how these people grew up and their beliefs and the dynamic of their household. And it just fascinates me. I think it's really cool. Okay, the last and final thing that I'm going to share with you guys today is my YouTube history, like what I like to watch on YouTube. And it's actually dark history. So I like to hear about, this is going to sound so twisted, but I like to hear about how people were executed and tortured in the past, why that would happen. I like to hear about history in general. I really love to hear about Egyptian history, just history in general. But for some reason, that fascinates me. The way that they ruled things back then really, really fascinates me. And I love to hear other people's stories. So there's a channel, I'll try to link it down below because I don't actually remember the channel name. It just always pops up because it's something I watch regularly, where this guy interviews people and it's their stories. So sometimes it's a prostitute story, sometimes it's a victim story, sometimes it is the person that, like a pedophile story, or different people's story. And I find it so fascinating to know how they got there. And because I'm such a judgment-free person, it's really easy for me to hear somebody's story and hear it for what it is without judgment. So those are the two topics that I really enjoy watching on YouTube that have nothing to do with luxury. Old dark history and people's story, and where they came from and how they got to where they are today. I hope that you guys learned a little bit more about me. Let me know down in the comments below, what is something, if you're comfortable, only if you're comfortable sharing, what is something about you that you think other people might not agree with, or their opinion might be swayed or a little bit different than yours? I would love to get to know you guys a little bit more as well. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. That way I know to continue to create more content like this. And subscribe if you haven't already. But until next time, bye guys.